Hello, everyone.
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome to Dex Conference. Hopefully, you guys are having fun. Yeah?
Welcome. Well, so quick show of hands here. This might be a horrible experiment, but we'll see if it works. How many people here have used Stack Overflow in their career? That's pretty much everyone. All right, awesome. That's great to see. All right, that'll hit our numbers here in a minute as well as we talk about the developer community and how many people are engaged with the Stack Overflow site. All right. Today, well, I guess we'll kick off by introducing ourselves. I always skip that part. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, everyone. My name is Cheng. I'm product manager at Google Cloud. Very nice to meet you all.
And I'm Ryan Polk, Chief Product Officer for Stack Overflow. And what we're going to talk about today are a couple of key topics to us, things that are really important to us at Stack, and really important to us in how we work with Google and the Gemini model overall. Right? And so we're going to walk through a couple of key factors. One, socially responsible AI. This is something that I think we've all been hearing about in the news, but as an organization, this is really important to Stack. Right? This is really important to our community as to how we integrate with the major LLM providers, how we provide our data to people, and how we work with them to further our community. So we're going to talk a little bit about socially responsible AI. From there, we're going to actually walk into some of the mock-ups around how our products are going to be working together. Things that we're doing on Stack Overflow, and things that we're doing on Gemini for Google. All right? And so beyond that, when we get through all of that, we also want to talk a little bit about the power of the data, the power of what we're doing with Stack's data, and how we use that to create relationships in the LLM world to really drive back the value into our community. And so we're going to talk a little bit there as well. We'll have some time for Q&A, so more than happy to open this up to the crowd, and we'll be bringing a mic around shortly after we get done, so please feel free to ask questions when we get to the end. I'm going to start off by walking a little bit through Stack's journey over the last year and a half, right? It's no secret that when a major LLM came into the market a year and a half ago, we saw a little bit of waves. I wouldn't really call it disruption, I'd call it waves in the usage of our site, and behavior changes in the users on our site as well, right? People went out to the LLMs to get a quick solution to things, but they quickly came back throughout this last year to really learn more about the answers they're looking for. Right? What we found through a bunch of different tests on our site, if you've been a user, you may have, did anybody sign up for our private labs tests around AI capabilities? Of course, the Stack team, but there's a couple other folks in here as well. We did a lot of different tests using AI capabilities on the site. What we found were a couple of different things. When we implemented a pure chatbot, we found a really cool link between satisfaction. People were getting the answers they were looking for. They were getting a quick solution. But what we found was they weren't really learning. They weren't really moving to that stage of actually digging into things and learning more from the community overall. So what we found as well was that really humans are the best source, the best resource for providing context and accurate answers to people engaging in the community. So we get a quick solution, which is amazing from the AI capabilities, but when you really want to dig in and learn, you have to get into the community itself. The AI capabilities also gave people the power of the first draft, and we're going to talk a little bit about this as we talk about the different solutions that we're putting into place. But knowledge management as a core element of what we do is still incredibly important. Right? The ability to take a basic solution and then dig in behind the scenes on that, interact with community members, ask questions, engage, is an incredible portion of learning. And so what we're looking to really drive is that element of learning in our community, aided by AI capabilities. Another element that we found, we did our yearly developer survey. This is a huge survey. We had about 90,000 participants in this. We asked a couple of key AI questions in the last survey in 2023. An interesting one here. 70% of developers either are using AI capabilities or plan to use it in the near term. As this is a couple of months old already, they probably more or less, more of them are actually in that using category. On the other side of this, though, only 42% either somewhat trust or highly trust the accuracy of the data they're receiving, right? Well, trust is something that's interesting because we've seen the AI models, Gemini's models evolved a ton over the last couple of years. So trust isn't necessarily purely about the accuracy of the data being received, right? Trust has two basic elements when you talk about knowledge management. One, a simple question. Why is the sky blue? Why is the sky blue? I'm just screwing with you. I'm not going to actually pull you up on stage. Why is the sky blue? If I ask a friend, why is the sky blue, right? What I'll get is an answer, probably, if they know enough about this, something around the wavelength of light moving through the atmosphere and so forth, right? I'll probably trust that answer if it's a friend of mine, but if it's a stranger, what do? Well, the first thing I would probably do is go to the why do they know that? What are their bona fides? What is their background that tells me that that answer is correct, right? Well, if they answer, you have a PhD in physics, then I would say, oh, your bona fides are amazing, right? It'd be cool if you did have a PhD in physics, by the way. But on the other side of that, how else can I trust that if the bona fides aren't exactly what I'm looking for? Well, I can dig in. I can ask, how do they know that? Not just why, and go into the details of how they learned that activity. I can dig into the knowledge underlying what they're providing me, the quick solution they're providing me. And so what we're looking for here when building trust is providing that how. I expect in the next couple of years with Gemini, as we look at this, the bona fides are going to be there. People are just going to start to say, well, Gemini says it must be right, right? So the bona fides will be there, but the how is really what we're looking to provide in knowledge management. Socially responsible AI. This is not just a buzzword. This is actually a movement in the industry, right? This is where the industry is moving. This is something we've been experiencing and we've been promoting at the same time, right? This is a movement towards the major LLM providers creating relationships with the communities that they engage with and giving back to those communities while they consume the data from those communities, right? This shift has been dramatic over this last year. And the relationship with Google is an amazing example of a company taking socially responsible AI with full power, full steam, full energy, and being a huge backer of this. One of the key elements that we push really hard is the idea that attribution is non-negotiable. Pointing back to the source of your data, pointing back to where you are actually integrating with, and finding your solution. Put it this simply, how do you know the answer is key. We believe that content itself, as we build more and more content on the web, is still best human-driven, right? At the very least, we need to have a human in the loop in everything that we're posting, right? This is a key element of how we are creating relationships with the major LLM providers. And feedback from communities can be one of the most powerful mechanisms for training and building LLMs and AI models in the future. And so integrating into these communities is going to be a key element of every LLM provider as we evolve. What we're looking to do is set the new standard with vetted, trusted, and accurate data that will be the foundation on which technology solutions are built and delivered to our users, right? So this is a loop for us. We want to be the provider of the data. We have an incredible data set. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But why are we providing that? We're providing that to create relationships with the major providers, to then come back around and leverage those relationships to bring more and more capabilities to our community. Right? This is the loop we're looking to provide. And this is key to everything we're doing. You'll see this on our roadmap. And when we're communicating with our overall community, this is the foundation of that, providing more and more value with the relationships that we create. Google's got some great examples here coming up with how they're doing attribution and integrating back into our community. And this is something we're excited to announce at this show. Now, I will talk a little bit about how we're using Gemini as well. Oh shoot, I'm pre-talking your slides. That's my bad. All right, I'm going to hand it over to Cheng.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you so much. Now let's talk about what the partnership between Google Cloud and Stack Overflow means for you, right, in your cloud experiences.
See, that's why I thought I wasn't pre-talking your slides.
You
got me. You got me. It was good. Rewind that back. Let's talk about how we're integrating Gemini into the public Stack Overflow site. All right. Now, about a year and a half ago, this is before I joined, we had this concept of what we called staging ground. This was a capability that was really popular in our community. It was a basic concept. To understand the Stack community, you have to understand that the original mission and the continuing mission has always been for our community to be the world's software development knowledge store, right? To be the center of that software development knowledge. And one of the key elements to this, we've all kind of experienced it in some ways, is that we're relatively strict about what you ask and what you post on the site, right? Which can be a barrier to people. This is something that we take a little bit of roasting on the public sites out there for. But it's valuable because it drives the quality of the questions and the quality of the answers on our site. And so that's a valuable loop to us that we need to continue to support. As we built out Staging Ground, the basic idea here was to help improve the quality of questions by creating a review process where people posted questions and then other community members could help them review those questions, give them feedback, help them tweak it, and get that question in line with what was expected as to a good question, a high-quality question on our site. We launched this in our labs capability about a year and a half ago, tested the heck out of this, and what we found was that although this was incredibly valuable, it was also something that didn't scale, right? We were having a lot of questions moving through the process automatically because we didn't have enough people to review them on a regular basis. This is also a great example of what AI can do for us, right? It's something that we can bring these capabilities in and help the person who is crafting a question, both in how they craft it, what they're crafting, helping them with their text, helping them with their overall context of the question, looking at expected outcomes, helping them with framing and formatting and other things as an element of helping them craft. But it's still their question. They're the one writing it. They're the one who's engaging with the community. This is something that helps them build a better question and helps the community build a better knowledge store. And the implementation of Gemini here is something that is going to be the first major step in new capabilities on our site. Now, this will include, though, as I come back to that human element, the next stage. We will continue to have a community review of this, and our expectation is, as we go through the AI review, the community review will be much faster, and we can scale much more effectively, even though we are still having humans engage with each one of these questions. Right? This is important to us to make sure there is always a human in the loop as we build new community capabilities. Now I'll hand it over to Cheng, and we'll go through the over Google slides.
Now it's my turn for real. Now you can see how tightly we have integrated. Our slides even blend together now. But again, now let's talk about what this partnership really means to you and how we are bringing the value to Google Cloud customers. So first, let me introduce you Gemini Cloud Assist. How many of you have been to the opening keynote? Quick show of hands. Majority of people. So this shouldn't be news to you. Gemini Cloud Assist brings a transformative approach to cloud management experience by leveraging cutting-edge Gen AI technologies and our deep understanding of Google Cloud. What this powerful combination brings you is really to address the complexity and challenges our customers are facing every day. Frankly speaking, a lot of cloud practitioners in our industry are facing the same challenge. Gemini Cloud Assist solidifies Google Cloud as the best cloud vendor on the market for ease of use and achieving optimal results, helping you. Now, let's take a quick look at how Gemini Cloud Assist can help you up-level your cloud management experience. First, it helps you to accelerate outcomes and achieving your cloud goals faster by assisting you through from design to deployment, troubleshooting, operations, and optimization. Secondly, it simplifies your task management experience by automating and intelligently guiding you through all your cloud workflows. And third, it offers a tailored experience because Gemini knows who you are, knows your resources, so they can provide you a personalized experience based on your specific environment and your cloud resources. Finally, lastly but not leastly, from a security and compliance point of view, as a Google Cloud customer, you can directly benefit from Google's best security practices, up-to-date knowledge, and enterprise-grade security and compliance that you can trust. Again, Gemini Cloud Assist is powered by Google's Gemini family of industry-leading models. It offers Google Cloud-wide AI assistant for your entire cloud management lifecycle experience, from design to operations to optimizations. And it offers an intelligent and assisted cloud management experience that cuts costs, boosts your productivity, and fosters customer innovation. Lastly but not leastly, it's not only available on the Cloud Console, we also made it available on our Cloud Mobile app. So all of you can enjoy the power of Gemini even on the go. Okay, let's dig a little deeper into how it all comes together on Gemini Cloud Assist. This actually will show you how we integrate Stack Overflow and bring the community knowledge to benefit your cloud management experience on Google Cloud. In the center of this diagram, you'll see is our multi-model Gemini models, which are trained on massive amount of documents, books, code, video, audio, image files. And we fine-tune the foundation model for Google Cloud with our specific domain knowledge. And then each prompt user submits are also augmented with your specific context, users' information, telemetry data, and on the top left corner, you'll see Stack Overflow data, along with additional Google data that we use to actually fact ground our response. This helps improve our response quality, and also this brings our unique set of capabilities to our responses that perhaps other Gen AI solutions don't have. The response can also be made on the right-hand side. You see a variety of experiences and services, including both the desktop as well as mobile and various forms of experience that user can interact with. Because Gemini Cloud Assist is powered by Gemini family models, it can incorporate new sources of data to continuously improve the quality of answers. We're super, super excited to announce that this data now includes the body of Stack Overflow posts, which brings the expertise of the world's largest community of developers' knowledge right into Google Cloud's Cloud Console. Now, when Gemini gives you a response that was informed by Stack Overflow's post, you can see a call-out link at the bottom of the response, as you've seen on the animation on the right-hand side. You will see that link shows up and even marked with the Stack Overflow logo, allow you to visit the community directly. You can get more context on what this post is about, see related links, and understand how and why Gemini gave you that answer. As a summary, adding the depth and the breadth of Stack Overflow community's knowledge to Gemini helps our user to get better answers to your questions. And we're constantly updating our grounding data with the latest post so that you don't have to worry about stale answers, data cutouts, or scenarios where you're working on something brand new and you can't trust your LLMs to have the most cutting-edge answers, because we are constantly updating these data. With that, Ryan, back to you to talk about how this partnership can be mutually beneficial to both Stack Overflow customers and Google Cloud customers.
Very much so. So let's talk a little bit about the evolution of the LLM and AI market, right? And the power of the data that is provided by the Stack Overflow community. So go through a couple of the stats here. I liked our impromptu survey here at the beginning. 92% of developers visit Stack Overflow regularly, right? This is a huge number, and we were close to 100% in here when we did the survey. We have 15 years of highly accurate, high quality, trusted knowledge contributed by the community. And let's be realistic here. If we went back in time 15 years and said we were going to build the perfect knowledge base for creating data for LLMs, probably couldn't have done it much better than what Stack is today. And that's important, not necessarily just for the data, but for multiple reasons, as we'll talk about as we move forward. We have over 58 million questions and answers on the site. A question is asked about every 14 seconds, and answers are provided on a much higher frequency. 69,000 technology tags, different topics on the site. And this is an interesting one. The knowledge on the site has been reused over 51 billion times. Give examples, people visiting, learning, and then other systems that are engaged or integrated with our products as well. This is the foundation of the relationships that we're creating. This is the foundation of the relationships that are driving what we're doing with Google and with other partners. This foundation is important to us not necessarily purely for the data, but for the overall capabilities that we can bring to play by leveraging that data. So you think of it as we have our community, it provides up-to-date information, it adds signals around the value of the knowledge, provides context, and it provides content for the LLMs to consume, right? Our community then interacts with Gemini, and Gemini provides value back to that community by helping us edit questions, by helping us find new areas that we would want to create questions in. There's a whole bunch of different things that we're working through here as our overall mission in engaging with AI. But the most important factor is that the AI capabilities we put into place are going to help improve interaction in the community, help make it easier to interact in the community, and help drive value to the community. And that's what this engagement around data is giving us. We believe in the end, the community can be driven to be something that is a collaboration, something is a capability of us working together with humans and AI, learning from each other and helping each other to learn. And that learning is the center of what we're building as part of the Stack Overflow community. With that, I'll open it up for questions.
Well, while the staff is helping to grab the mic, let's just quickly share a few QR codes in case you have your phone with you. Feel free to pull it out. On the left-hand side is a QR code that we actually have quite a few product engineering teams and researchers are eager to speak with you to get your feedback on how do you see this relationship goes. What do you like to see Gemini Cloud Assist can help you in your specific use cases. On the right-hand side, in case you're too busy or have other team member you want to invite, you can use that QR code to talk to us via remote or virtual meeting. And before you go to question, there's also an ebook comes with the benefit of this conference. It's authored by our Chief Evangelist Officer, Richard Schroeder. Feel free to scan the QR code to download that book. Questions?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Got one down here.
Thank you for the great presentation. I think this is a good way of creating a more collaborative work between LLM or GenAI providers and data providers, so I think that's a really good approach. I was curious if you're using on the updated Stack Overflow data, fine-tuning on a daily basis, or if you rather use a RAG approach for the incremental updates?
Yeah, that's, I hope people can hear the question. I don't need to repeat the question, right? Yeah. Currently we're focusing on leveraging Stack Overflow data to help us improve response qualities through use of RAG. And we're not using the Stack Overflow data for fine-tuning yet. We find the RAG data is a lot more, allow us to iterate faster. We do have plan to continuously update the source data that we receive from Stack Overflow team on a regular basis. Yeah.
All right, we got right here and right there.
As a college student, I noticed that most of the questions that I have from where I learned are marked as duplicate when I find the exact problem I have, it's marked as duplicate, and then poof, nothing more. Do you think that you could use AI as to find a solution to that?
So as part of the staging ground capability, which is definitely a target for us, is the idea of also being able to reference out, these are other questions that look a lot like yours, right? And so you should be able to either look at these or reference these. But then also, if your question really isn't a duplicate, we can help you craft the question in a way that catches the right responses, puts the right tags there, and so forth. Definitely a primary target for us. New users on the site, college students, what we're really looking to do is catch developers at the beginning of their careers and help them grow as part of the Stack Overflow community. So very much something that we're focusing on in staging ground.
Hi, Adam with WellSky. Question, the Stack Overflow data you reference here, I'm assuming is from the Stack Overflow public side.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
If that's the case, what is their future plan on harvest the data in the Stack Overflow teams, the private data?
So currently our customers on Teams can access their own data through our APIs, so they can pull out their own data, and we do have plenty of customers who are using that data to train their own models internally. We are also looking at making it available for people to, for internal use only, access our public site data as a way of training their own internal models as well. But if you are a Teams customer today, you have access through the APIs for that data. We're probably going to bring some new capabilities in to be able to get access to the data in an easier way. Possible direct access to the database or something along those lines for training, or a data file extract. We are looking at options there, and this is something that we want to expand upon as part of our product suite, for sure.
Question?
Hey, my name is Aziz. So you mentioned attribution to users for their posts. Compensation to users for the knowledge they provide to LLMs is a hot topic right now. I'm curious to know what your perspective is on that. Are there any circumstances where you think it makes sense to compensate users for the posts that they put on Stack Overflow and LLMs to get trained on?
That's a great question. I think our primary target is investment in the capabilities that are there for the users. Also bringing back capabilities that we believe to be valuable to help people grow their careers, and really focusing on that developer and technologist persona to provide more and more value based on the data that is being provided as part of the community. So the intent here is investment. If we get to the point where it's past investment, then maybe. But I think the primary focus here is on building out more capabilities for our users and growing the value of the community based on the data. So.
Hi, thank you for this. The Stack Overflow strategy that you've described seems predicated on the assumption that humans are better answerers of coding questions than AIs are, which seems true, but temporary. How would the Stack Overflow strategy change if in the next year or two get better than humans at answering the questions?
Yeah, there's definitely there's an optimistic and a pessimistic view. I think the current media is very much on the optimistic view side, and pessimistic from it's going to, all of the bad things. But I think that we're taking multiple views on this and combining them into our strategy. We do believe that the community as it is has to evolve to integrate and work with AI capabilities, and both sides need to be able to learn from each other, right? And so as we evolve as a community, I believe that those answers are going to get better and better, and that value is going to go up, but we still have to actually learn from those answers. We actually have to be able to dig into that answer and say, how do I know this? How do I learn this? And how do I take this knowledge and grow from it, not just get a quick answer to my question, right? And so I believe that knowledge management itself is going to be key to that. And there's always going to be the case where we don't get the right answer in the first place, even if it's a human or if it's an LLM. And at that point, we need to be able to then embark on that journey of learning. And I would actually say that even if we do get the right answer in the first place, lots of times we should still continue to embark on that journey of learning, and we can provide that. Right?
If you don't mind, I can also add a little bit from a Google's perspective, right? So I think what we see LM or Gen AI technology really is a empowerment to human potentials, or a tool to help human to do things faster, more efficient, to up-level human capacity or human potential, right? And so I think there's always a role for human to play, even with a continuously advanced Gen AI technologies. I mean, if you look at the latest numbers, our Gemini 1.5 has already exceeded the average, there's a benchmark test. But that doesn't mean that it's going to replace. I think there's always a role for human to play of how do we guide, how do we continue to leverage this tool to increase our creativities and innovations.
Over here.
Yeah, I had a question from Ryan. Thanks so much first for your insightful presentation. I was wondering, from the time that Gen AI platforms like OpenAI and Gemini came for public access, what's the trend of new content addition to Stack Overflow? Like, how much of the coding issues and problems people go to these chatbots, and how much do they really come back to Stack Overflow? And what do you think the trend will reveal itself in the future?
Yeah, I think there's been a couple of public posts on this one. Overall, people tracking our traffic and so forth. So I don't think this is, I don't think there's any need for holding back these numbers overall. But essentially, I think the initial drop was in the 30 to 40% range. But what we saw was a pretty quick uptick back from there as people saw, the initial hype cycle went back. And I think the overall drop right now, if I remember correctly, is about 20 to 25%. Oh, 15. Sorry, 15%. I got my team down here. Give me the right numbers. That's good. Don't quote that number. And I really think that is something that overall, I think the primary challenge that we need to focus on is making it easier to interact with our community. It's not competing with LLMs. It's really working with LLMs to bring people back to the community and drive them back. And when you see what we're doing in Gemini here, that little link there is a big thing, right? That little link is a way of having everyone who wants to learn more come back to the Stack community and then engage. And be able to do that as part of their IDE, not leaving their primary screen, and be able to come back and actually engage with the community, right? These are partnerships that we're looking at across the board, because what we want to do is stay in that first screen with people and have them come from their IDEs to us and engage with the community in their natural environment while engaging with the LLM that is providing them answers. Right? So.
Hi. You talked about the partnership in Google Cloud Assist. Is that a plan for the Code Assist as well? Or?
So good question. The question is about whether or not the partnership would benefit the Code Assist product. So the data how we use Stack Overflow's data is to put into our common RAG, retrieval augmented generation. So that's actually a common module that's shared for all Gemini products across Google Cloud. Eventually, all those benefits will show up, but it's not going to be in the first wave. We're building out the product pipeline as we go, so just stay tuned for future announcement. But the short answer is yes, it will benefit all Gemini products for Google Cloud. Yeah, thank you.
Hello. I'm wondering what could be the main difference between consulting information through Gemini Cloud between consulting directly from Stack Overflow website, I mean, with your AI offering?
Well, so our offering is not intended to replace the Gemini offering. So we aren't doing our own chat-based interface on our site. And so if you would be engaging with the chat-based capability in Gemini and then coming to us based on the answers and engaging with the community. On our site, we're really focused on assisting capabilities around people engaging with the community. And what we find is that in the IDE or in the console for Gemini, it's a great place to start. But in our community, we're trying to stay away from actually doing chat-based interfaces. So.
Hi, thank you for the great presentation. One quick question. How do you deal with deprecated data? I'm just curious, right? Because, you know, the versions of the software are changing, you know, many things are changing. Do you get any?
It's, you want to roll as a product manager or engineer at Stack? So it's a constant focus for us. It's something that we're now, of course, the site has the capabilities built in, right? As questions change, people can downvote answers. And as they evolve, as those answers evolve, there's new interfaces, new versions of products and so forth. The new answers should float to the top. But there are challenges with that, right? We are looking at better tagging, the ability to show versions for questions. So a question based on a version of a software interface or something along those lines to make it easier to then keep the historical record but start to generate new questions based on new versions of products and so forth. So it's definitely on our roadmap and something we're focused on solving that problem specifically. All right. Oh, we almost had a hand back there, but now I'm going to. All right.
All right. If no more questions, we definitely would appreciate your providing feedback to us. If you could, let us know how it goes for you. And thank you again so much for coming to our session. Hopefully enjoy the party tonight and have a great rest of your next conference. Thanks.
Thank you.